Hello everyone, Joshua Crankin here. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on UVs tonight. Some people are having an issue getting their UVs laid out properly, so I decided to show you a quick way to get some UVs laid out. Now I'm not going to UV the entire character because basically if you can UV certain parts, it's pretty easy to UV the rest of them. So when we're done, we're going to have a UV character that looks like this. You can see here, let's turn on and shade it, all of her UVs are laid out nice and neatly, evenly spaced. Let's see what they look like on her. I'm going to go ahead and scale them up in here, just so that way we can see what they look like. And one of the important things about UVs is that when you're making them, you have to make sure that your UVs are evenly spaced. As we can see, we got some nice squares, some minor stretching, but that's not a big deal. And one other thing to take into mind when you're doing UVs is where you're going to put your seams. You're going to want them in a place that's kind of inconspicuous, but we're going to go over that in the actual video. Alright, so if you're ready and you have your character modeled and finished, let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and close out of this. Alright, so this here is the character that we're going to UV today. I did not model this character, but that's fine. UVs are pretty much the same all the way around. So this is what we're going to use to UV. Alright, so let's start off with something simple first. And then, actually, let's get that out of the way. Then we're going to move on to some stuff that's a bit more complex, like the head and the ear. So first, let's do the arms and the legs, and we'll do the torso, the neck, then we'll move on to the head. Okay. First, I like to set up my channel box so that I have easy access to my perspective view and my texture editor, because I use that a lot. So, and I also like to work in this view, but you can feel free to work in whatever view you want to. Alright, so this is what our UVs look like right now, and as you can see, that's a pretty hot mess. Can't texture. None of that. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is, actually I do need to go back into this view, because we're going to put on a checker pattern onto this girl. That way we can actually see how our UVs are looking. Let's go ahead and get your checker pattern all pulled up. I like to use this one because it has a lot of tiny little squares. This one is on the CDC server, so you can go ahead and pull that from there. And as you can see, this does not look pretty at all, but that's okay because we're going to fix that. Alright. Okay. Now I like to turn this on, and I also like to turn on border edges. That way I can actually see where my seams are, and I know the proper places to put them. Okay? So first we're going to go ahead and do the arm. We're going to do the arm and the hand separate just because different textures. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to go to our face mode, and we're just going to select the faces of the arm. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and turn off this texture. Just going to start selecting the faces. Now remember how you built this character, you know, how you separated it at the delt and at the wrist. So when we do the arm UV, that's all we're going to grab, is what we actually built in our separate seams. Alright. Then I do it this way because it's rings and it just makes it easier to select. We can just go in. Ooh, don't want that. I do want to use this tool because it's awesome. Make sure our faces, and we're just going to go ahead and start selecting all of our faces here. Alright. Now when you're painting UVs, you always do want to select faces because that is what we're going to be texturing. Okay? So now we have all the faces of the arm selected. We're going to go ahead and go to Create UV, and we're going to do a planar map. I like to use the planar map because it's super simple when it comes to laying stuff out. You just have to do a little bit of cutting, but that's super simple, nothing to worry about. Let's see, we're on our Z-axis. So you know what? Actually, I'm going to do it from one. I'm going to do it from the top down, just because I think that might prove a little bit better. So you want to make sure that you're in Y-axis, bounding box, keep image. You gotta want to make sure those are checked. I'm not exactly sure what they do. All I know is that when they've been checked, I haven't had an issue. So we're going to keep those. We're going to go to project. Right. And then we can see what it looks like in our UV texture editor. Go ahead and move this out of the way. We don't want to leave it in there because then it becomes a pain to reselect it. So we always want to move it out of the 0 to 1 space. When we're all done, we're going to put it back. But for right now, let's go ahead and move it out. Alright, and you know from other classes that red means backwards, purple means you have ones that are facing the correct way and ones that are facing the wrong way on top of each other. So what we're going to do, remember what I said about we're going to place our scenes in inconspicuous places. Since our character is in T-pose, a place like under the arm right here is not going to be that noticeable. So that's where we're going to put our cut. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this edge right here, right underneath the arm, going from the armpit, going to follow this edge all the way to the wrist. Alright, we're going to have this whole edge selected. Make sure you don't have anything else selected because you don't want to cut something you don't want. And then over here, this is our cut UV tool, and this is what we're going to use. So we're going to go ahead and cut that. Now we just separated this guy. Most of the parts of the body are kind of like cylinders, and you know if you cut a cylinder you can roll it out flat, and that's basically what we're doing here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and switch to UV mode. We're going to select all of these guys, and we're going to use this tool right here, which is our Unfold and Relax tool. Now what this tool basically allows us to iron out, or roll out, unfold our geometry, our UVs here, to a flat shape, so that's what we're going to do. Just go ahead and click this and drag it. And voila, we have our arm nicely laid out. What I like to do is I like to run a relax on it just because you might get some overlapping and unfolding might not always get it. So I like to unfold it again, make sure it's all the way flat, and I like to relax it just a little bit, then unfold it one more time. Don't worry about sizing right now because we are going to go back and resize everything. However, we just did this one arm. What I would do next is I'd go over and do this exact same, the next arm over here. And then I would make those the same size just because we do want to keep same textile density throughout. But right now, keeping them the same size isn't really an issue because, like I said, we are going to go back and resize everything. Alright, so now that we have this all nice and laid out, turn it over here, move that off to this way. Alright, and then we can move on to something else. Now I am only going to do one arm, one leg. I will do the whole torso and the whole head, but basically you guys can figure out. It's all the same, it's just figuring out where you need to set your projections, okay? I'm not going to do the hand because that's, if you can lay out the UVs for the head and for the ear, the hand will be no problem, okay? Next, I will do the front of the chest. I will not do the entire torso area. I am going to cut it down the side, right about here where we have this edge from the arm running down. The reason being why we cut it down from the side is because, remember, we do have to have seams somewhere, and right here is kind of an inconspicuous area. You might ask, why don't we do the entire torso? And to tell you the truth, I'm pretty sure you could do the entire torso if you wanted to, but cutting it down here does give you more manageable sections. But hey, if you feel like you want to do the entire torso, how we do it for the front of the torso will be the exact same way to do it for the back of the torso. Just remember where you're going to place that seam and just unfold it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the torso. Alright, so same thing as before, we're going to go to faces, and we're just going to start selecting faces. I don't know what hotkey for this tool is, I should make one. We do want, I like this tool. Alright, and then let's go ahead and start painting. Remember, just like for the arm, what you modeled as the torso, that's what we're going to cut for the torso. So I think for the torso, I will just take this ring here. Yeah, I'll take that ring up to the collarbone. Ooh, we do not want that. Actually, I'm going to go work on this side because I have the seams I want on that side. Actually, I do not want you to go up, so I'm going to have to manually select it. And don't be afraid to go in here one at a time, select one face at a time. One other thing about modeling is you cannot be afraid to just select one face or one edge at a time. You can't always group select them, sometimes you have to go in there and do it one at a time. Granted, it's a pain in the butt, but it's the only way to get the correct geometry that you want. Okay? Let's see. Actually, this is going to stop right about here. Actually, no, I think no, because I didn't do that, and I don't want to start something that I might have to struggle to figure out, so I will just do it half and half like I was telling you to do. That's about right. Yeah, that looks good to me. Alright, bring it over on it. Here, select these. Remember, we are going to stop at the collarbone, which would be this ring here. This guy around. What I like to do is I select the outer rings first. That way, when I do start to painting, doing my paint selections, I know exactly where I'm going and where not to go over. Now, like I said, if you feel like you want to just do the entire torso instead of cutting it in half, feel free to. I'm actually debating doing that just to see if we can. Actually, you know what? Why not? Let's do the entire torso. And we can actually put the ceiling in the exact same place. So, blast it all and let's do it. Ooh, alright, so let's start painting our selections because, you know what? Sorry to waste your time, but I decided we do want to do a whole torso instead of doing selections. There might be a scenario where you want to do it in selections, but for right now, we don't care. Alright. So, let's a little bit. Now, I will not take the brush geometry. I'm going to lay those UVs out as a separate piece. Just because the breast does have a different texture than the rest of the skin, and I don't want that. Ooh, can't do that. I don't want to do that with the torso. So this ring, starting from, actually, for this character here, it will be this ring. We can select these faces here. This is the cape loop, so you can select your cape loop. That will be part of the torso. Now we can go back and finish painting our selection. Good. Alright, so we don't want those faces for the part of the arm, and we do the arms separately. We do want those, and let's do it all around. Alright, let's get back down in here. And I'm only gonna handpick those faces last because alright, looks like we have everything. Oh, got those. Let's go back here. Select that face. Okay. Looks like we have all the geometry that we could possibly want for torso. Yep. Pretty good. Alright. So we're going to go to create UVs, we're going to go planar mapping. In this particular case, because it's not up and down like the arm was, it's kind of in the Z-axis, so we're going to do it from Z. We're going to do a shooter planar map this way, and we'll cover this section of her going that way. So we're going to do project. See? Very nice. Texture editor, remember to move that out of 0 to 1 space. Move it wherever you want it. Alright. Now let's go in and cut the seam. Now for this chap here, we're going to still be cutting it on the underside of the arm. So let's switch to edge mode, follow this back way down. And voila, go back in here, and we're going to cut edge UV, boom, switch to UVs, and then we should be able to unfold her just like we did the arm. It's possible we may have to cut in another edge, but we don't need to worry about that just yet, so let's see. Alright, see, this is what I was talking about, the things overlapping sometimes, so we can relax it. Unfold it again, relax it, unfold it. Actually, let me go ahead and close another shot. Just because, actually, yes, save that, see what we did. Default the computer to run as efficiently as possible. It's a little sluggish right now. Alright. Fold. Let's go ahead and relax that. Alright, and if this doesn't work, we may need to, we actually might need to put in that other edge. And I do not like the way this is looking. It's rocking around too much, so you know what, I'm going to go ahead and Z back to here. Alright, we already still have our edge here, so I'm going to go ahead and put in another cut on this side of the torso. Okay, just because I think that will allow us to unfold it better. Okay, so UVs, shell, this one over. This one doesn't want to go over. That's okay. Actually, that's not okay. But let's see. So let's go ahead and see if we can unfold it now. Oh, I know why it did cut the way it was supposed to the first time. It's because I forgot to take into account the arm here. So I actually needed to make a cut up here. There's one thing, and that would explain why it was being held together like that. So I'm not going to cut that edge. Instead, I will take this one, see if I can line it up to another edge up here. Maybe I like this one better. And see, this is probably why it would have been better to do it one at a time, but that's okay. We can trial and error. Don't be afraid to screw up. And just try again. As you can see, that is what I'm having to do. And it looks like we were not able to cut it at the right spot. So, you know what? This is what I think we should do. I'm going to go ahead and Z-back to what's here. And we already know that we did the front side. Well, we have basically the entire thing done, but it's still not correct because we can't seem to unfold it. So I'm going to take this opportunity to cut this in half like I was going to do from the beginning. So what I will do is I will go to edge mode, make this here, to here, not there, just be here, there, and I will cut it here, just so I can see my seam. Right. And then I'm also going to take it from here to here, cut that, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Make sure it is even, that is important. Right. So we're going to take from here, here, going to cut that. Alright, and then we're going to take, go ahead and give it a try to unfold it, see if that works. Sometimes we might actually end up having to, yeah, we're going to have to do this separately, but that is a-okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go face mode, and we're going to start selecting faces again. I know it's a pain, but it is something that we do have to do. To about here. So on this side. Even. And what we'll end up doing is we will end up remapping this section. Okay. Actually, I don't think I will do the leg just to save you guys some time. The arm, the leg is exactly like the arm. So if you did the arm, you will be able to do the leg. I think after I do the torso here, I'm going to move on to the head and the ear. Just to save you guys some time so you don't have to listen to me speak all night. Okay. So we got those. This one. Set these guys this way. Make sure you gotta want to make sure you don't have those, because those are part of the front. And you want to leave it part of the front. Alright. this color control UV paint GPUs because we do not want them in this particular part of our UV model. Okay, so back to painting. Actually, once you get the hang of it, it also does help if your geometry is nice and organized, just because it's easier to find where you're trying to go with stuff, and it also helps to even things out, but that's fine. UVs are pretty much the same, so I think we have everything. Looks like we do. Do select these two faces, alright. Make sure we don't have anything in front. We don't, alright, so we're going to go create UVs, kind of map, and we're going to do an Z again. Yep. Then we're going to do project. Go into here. Find out where they're at, Then move these boards up. I mean, you still do need to do some unfolding for both of them, but these guys need to be flipped, so that way on the right side. Boom. Alright, these. Select these. Unfold. Oh, well, that is not good. Not exactly sure what happened, but it looks like it decided to take every single face and use it as UV, which is why it has all these thick lines. It did it individually instead of go ahead and do back. It's fine right here, but it's when we flip it that it starts looking weird. So actually, let's go ahead and grab these and then try flipping them as UVs. Okay, so just when you flip it, make sure you do flip it as UVs, otherwise you will get that weird looking thing that we just did. Actually, and this one wants to still be its own separate UV. To tell you the truth, I'm not exactly sure why, but what the heck. Hold this. Relax it in some, unfold it again. Move it over. Those are strays, which we can come back and fix anytime we want. Actually, those might be off from the front, and we will do the same thing to the front. Fold it. Relax it a little. Fold it again. Alright. Move it over. Alright. Not exactly sure where those two strays were, but it looks like they might have been up here. Anyway, okay, so now we're going to do the breasts. Basically, it's the exact same thing. We're going to select these faces here. Actually grab these. Normally you would do it one breast at a time, and I would actually recommend that, but just for time's sake I'm going to go ahead and do both at a time. The reason why you would do it one at a time is because sometimes when you planar map and you have two pieces of geometry selected, it likes to do it a bit weird like. So yeah, so when you do this, I would say do it one breast at a time. Planar mapping, you already know it's in Z because we did that last time. Perfect. Move these out of the 0 to 1 space. See, I had grabbed a thing from the back, so I don't want that. So see, I have that face, which is probably what was going on with my torso area. Actually, it was. See, that was part of the breast that I accidentally grabbed, which is why I wanted to act separate. Anyways, create UVs, planar map it, move it out of 0 to 1. Alright. Go into UVs, click off UVs, unfold and relax. Relax a little bit. Fold it out again. Do the same thing for the next one. Relax it. Unfold it. Remember, like I said, for now, don't worry so much about keeping things the same size because you do have to go back and resize everything. This is our arm, torso, and booties. Alright. So, we did the arms, we did the torso and the breast. Legs are just like the arms. Hands. Actually, we're going to go ahead and do the head, just because, like I said, if you can do the head, then you can. If you can do the head and the ears, then you can figure out how to do all the other stuff. Alright. Object mode. Okay. Now the head, I like to cut this into 3 separate pieces. I like to do the mask part of the face, then cranial region. I also got that one too, I'm sorry. The ears, we'll do those separately. The neck is along lines with the torso. You do want to split it down the middle just so we can unwrap it the same way we did as the torso. So I would follow the same line as we did for the torso, but that's up to you. Alright, so for the head, let's take a look at it. We want to find where the forehead kind of starts. Like, remember when we were building it, so we know it's going to start under here. Our face is. So we want to start under here. Grab these guys. Alright, and then we can just follow this ring all the way around. Those. And then it's off to our brush to start painting. Now, because the face does have these holes in the eyes, you might grab some back faces, but that's okay because we will go in and, make sure we only have selected what we want to have selected. So don't freak out if that does happen. Okay. Depending on how you want to do your head, we can grab these interiors afterwards. I think that might be best. We'll just lay those out separately, but that's a simple thing to lay out, so we don't really need to worry about it right now. Just don't want those in here spread, I think. Don't want this and this. You also may want to lay out your tear ducts separately as well. The eyes you might want to lay out separately. Actually, I would recommend laying them out separately because of how they're positioned might give you an issue. But what we can do is actually just what we'll do is we'll just edge cut halfway out all of them, just so we don't have to go back and do selected, which is actually what I think we'll do for this part of the mouth. We already know it's in Z. Very nice. And then we out of 0 to 1 space. Alright. Now we're not going to unfold this particular one just yet because, like I said, we are going to cut these eyeballs and the mouth part out. So what we'll do is go into edge mode now, and maybe this ring back. That's interesting. Actually, with this ring, I'm going to cut that. Snip. Same for this one here. Snip. And then lastly, we're going to do it for the interior of the mouth. So, let's go. Actually, nope, you're on the outside. We want you. You're fine. Yep, this one's fine. And snip. Okay. Then we will switch back to UVs, go into here, grab those to shell, and to shell is control right click. Move these over. That's right, we're going to unfold and relax them. Unfold. Relax it in. Unfold. 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 Now this doubling area here, that is part of the back part of the mouth. Well, actually, that's part of the mouth. Actually, we don't want that. So we may have to go and find out exactly where that is. That one is already smooth. Let's see if we can. Oh, that does grab the whole thing. Well, since that part's not seen, we don't need to worry about it as of now. Normally we would fix it, but just for right now, let's not worry about it and just get this stuff out. When we do the ear, you'll be able to run into that issue again, and since it's not seen and it's just overlapping, you might not need to worry about it. Sometimes you will have to actually go in and fix it, but for now, it should be fine. Alright, see, I actually relaxed that one too much, so I'm going to do back. Just unfold it. Sometimes relaxing will screw you up, so just be careful. And sometimes you'll have to go in manually move UVs around. But that's just like word pushing, so I am not going to get into that. Okay? Alright, so that's the face. And next we're going to work on the back part of the head. Excuse me one moment. Okay, back to faces. Alright, so we did this for the actual face. So basically everything that's left will be our second part of the head. And the neck will be separate, but the neck is just like the torso / arms and legs. We want to put our seams at the side just because more inconspicuous there. Let's paint, select. Yeah, I like to hand select my outer edges just so I have paint selecting. For the ear, all this goes into the ear, so we will leave that for the ear texture. Actually, we'll follow this and take this as part of my face. And your model may look different, but this is basically what we'll be doing. So, no need to worry. Back to it. And just paint the rest of it. And don't always hold your mouse down when you're painting, because as you can see, I grabbed some ear. I don't want that. So do let it up sometimes. That way you can just see back like that. And you also might need to shrink your brush sometimes, just because working with a finer region now. These like those faces. And I'm just doing the back one as big as we want. Within reason, of course. We are still trying to just paint a certain portion. Back into a smaller brush. Make sure you don't have anything you don't want. You want that. Okay. Don't want those. And you don't want that. Check around it. Make sure you only have what you need. Nothing more, nothing less. Looks good. Doing that. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. See, somehow we got the arm. Sometimes just gotta check. Swear it does weird things. What I do sometimes is I will move it up like that, and then I can see how I grab the arm. And then I can pull it up. Alright, I just grabbed what I needed. And for this one, since it's up and down, we're gonna do it create UVs. I'm gonna plane and map and apply. Up and down just because it looks better. Apply. Very nice. Make sure it looks correct. Oh, somehow we missed all of these. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I think I might have did that wrong. Deselect that. Check our seams. Looks good. And the reason why we can put seams around this region is because we're going to cover it with hair, so it's okay. Move this up. And going to unfold it and relax it. That's right. These holes here and here, I assume you probably know them where our ears were, but since they're separate geometries, that's fine. And for the ear, I'm only going to do one of the ear, and I'm also not going to do the spacing on it because, like I said at the very beginning, it's just a matter of even textile density, making sure your squares are nice and even all the way around. Okay, so we're actually almost done. I'm going to do an ear, and then you guys will be able to start texturing for yourselves. Won't that be exciting? Alright, for the ear, I could spend time trying to select specific faces, but since I have UVs laid out for everything else, what I can do is just marquee select ear like that, and then go into the UVs that I already have laid out, and I know that I don't want the cheeks, so I can just Control and deselect on the head. And I didn't lay out the UVs for the arms, so I will actually go back into this view, deselect those, see, and boom, just like that, I already have all my geometry for the ear. I do want those, maybe like that, or that, but definitely like that, okay? So for this guy, we're just going to planar map again, but this time we're going to do it in X because it runs this way. As you can see, X runs this way, so we're going to do it in X. Checked. Boom. There we go. Move this one out of the 0 to 1 space as usual. Alright. And this one we're going to have to cut along an edge to separate the back and front of the ear. Now there are several different places you might run your edge to cut it, so you will have to experiment with that. Do not be afraid to screw up, because you can always Z back. And the thing is, you can always lay out UVs again, so even if you do mess up, it's really not a big deal. For this guy though, I think I might take this inner edge right here. So it goes to here, so I'm going to go here, here, there, follow up to there, follow up to there, that one, there. I'm trying to sort of slightly. That's okay. This might actually be enough. It might not be. So I do want it to go from the toes on that way. So I'm completely open, so I'm going to follow like this. There. Now it goes into a hole so you know it will unfold evenly. Yep. Okay. And then we're just going to snip it. Snip. Alright. Now, like I said, don't be afraid to mess up. I might have just messed up by choosing that edge. We'll find out in the show. Looks like I may have. Let's see if we can unfold it. If we can unfold it, we'll be fine. And it doesn't look like we can unfold it evenly. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that. Actually, I think I'm going to choose a different edge to cut from. I think I'm going to choose this edge right here. Goes around to here. I think I'm going to cut it on that edge. Yeah. Let's see if that looks any better. Yep. Now we have it separated into two pieces, so now we can unfold it nicely. Like I said, don't be afraid to screw up. And this particular overlap right here, that is the ear canal, and that's supposed to be a black hole, so it's okay if it's overlapping. But how we had it overlapping for the mouth, we may want to go back and fix that, but not necessary. At least right now. If your art director or someone tells you that they don't like that, then you will have to go back and fix it. But yeah, okay, this tutorial went on a little bit longer than I thought. Forgive me, ran into some issues that I wasn't hoping to run into. But yeah, this is basically it. I mean, it's really not that hard. Just some planar mapping, cutting along the right edges, and doing some unfolding. Let's see, for the neck, we'll do it exactly the same way as we did the arms and the torso. We're going to be selecting, actually, you know what, I'm going to select those faces, and we already know all this stuff is UV, so we can deselect all this, that, and we just have the neck here. We can planar map this, do it in Z, project. We got from, oh, that was part of the other ear. That's okay, no biggie. Because we can go back and lay out the UVs for the ear anyway. UVs to shell. Move this further out the way. Move this guy over here because he's not laid out because he's part of the ear. Right. Go back to the ear. Let's see. Edge from here to here. Go here, here, here. Go ahead and cut it right there. Let's see if that will allow us to unfold it. If not, we'll split it down both ends like we did for the torso. Looks like we may have to. Actually, maybe not. Looks like we'll be able to unfold this. Alright, since we're gonna relax. Whoa, we don't want to relax you that much. Sometimes it is simpler just to cut it, but sometimes you may not be able to afford the seams, so you will have to explore your options. Okay, that actually looks like it's beginning to unfold nicely, except for this little area here. Actually, so you know what, I think I will cut it, just because I already have this cut in the torso, so it should be fine. I do want to make sure that it's even, so it goes from diamond through diamond. So this one will be this one. It looks like. Yeah, that's right. Alright, then I go ahead and cut it along there. I'm going to use these to shell, move them away from each other. Put it up like that, and then we can unfold it nicely. Do the same for this guy. And this is the back of the neck, that's the front of the neck. I know it's the front of the neck because of this box junction here. That box junction right there. Okay? So that is basically how you lay out the UVs for your character. After you've laid out all of your geometry, you will want to go in and do some even spacing and things like that. So you can open up another Maya to show you finished UVs again. And remember, you know, to put everything in 0 to 1 space. Here we go. Space root scenes. Alright, and this is finished, and let's take a look at our UVs. Nice and evenly spaced, laid out nicely. Face, neck, boobs, hands and nails, ears, eyes, tear ducts, torso, arms, legs. And remember to make sure your textile density is nice and even. You don't want much stretching. You don't want any stretching really. So if you can have stretching, try to avoid that. And yeah, so let's see. But I think I did it. Oh well. But yeah, so that's how we lay out UVs for our character. Not too hard. We do just need to pay attention, remember where to place our seams. Actually, for her, you can actually see it. I have seams here, down through the buttocks, running down her side here, going up through her arms. And you see the one on the top, it's almost congruent to the one on the bottom, like they're evenly spaced apart, like that. Collarbone, my head, let me go behind her hair. Have one here. The mask goes underneath the chin, good place to hide a seam, back of the head. The neck, one there as well. So it's just a matter of really where you want to place your seams. For the ear, so where do I have one? Oh, for the ear, I actually have it back here. Okay. So yeah, that is how you go about laying out your UVs. If you're doing a male character, exactly the same, except you won't need to cut out the breast, because men really don't have big enough breasts where you have to worry about that. So you can just do that in one swoop. Hands, not much different from the ear. If your character does have long nails, you may have to cut the nails out separately. I did have to do that for mine. Let's see, I have a seam running through here. I had to cut my nails out. See, it's here. Alright, I hope this helped. Again, sorry for taking up so much of your time, but hope you find this helpful, and have a good night.